couple things that stood out. They shot exceptionally well, probably as well as they've shot all year, and Tech was shooting in the 30s. So I guess there's something to look at there as far as a turnaround.
Well, you're talking the North Carolina State game?
Yeah.
Yeah, they shot the ball well. Obviously, Wood had a very good game. Offensively, I thought we got some good looks and weren't able to finish some of those plays. Watching that film, I think they're a much better team than when we play them. I think they've gotten kind of their some of the system down, especially with some of the younger guys. Again, anytime you have an injury like they had to Lorenzo Brown, it's going to impact their overall record. But what it did do is it allowed some of those other guys to maybe play a more significant role. So I think they're a lot better than when we played them early as well. We have to do a great job in our transition defense because that's one of the reasons they shoot such a high percentage as a team. They get so many open court baskets. So that's going to be a big key on Sunday night.
And of course, in that game, they shot the three exceptionally well, too. Over 40%.
Yeah, again, but Wood shot the ball well. Purvis hit a couple shots, and Brown hit a couple threes as well. So, they were picked to win the ACC for a reason. They can beat you in a lot of different ways. They're a good shooting team because they have two guys inside that can score. They have, the premier three-point shooter in our league in Woods, and so and those other guys can also get it going. So there's not one area other than trying to eliminate open shots, be it in the transition, in the post, or on the perimeter, in order to be successful against them on the defensive end.
Momentum-wise, it's nice to get a W and just go into the game on some level.
Yeah, but the one thing that you easily see in this league, you can't rely on the last game either positively or negatively. If you spend too much time looking behind you or what you did in the last game, or looking ahead to the next game, you got to concentrate on today and the challenge that's in front of you right then. Last night was a perfect example. There's a lot of talk about the Duke-Miami game on this weekend. And I'm not saying Duke was looking ahead, but in this league, if you think that because you won the next game you're in better position, that hasn't proven true. You have to concentrate on today and obviously on the opponent that you're getting ready for.
It's almost like baseball. Momentum's that day's starting pitcher.
Yeah, no question. It's our momentum is based on how hard we play and the energy that we play with and the frame of mind you go into the game. With that being said, I thought our guys, as I mentioned after the game, showed a lot about who they are with the bounce back effort that they gave, on Wednesday night, and hopefully that we'll be able to, use that and learn from that, as opposed to maybe that catapulting us to another type of performance. What's important is that we learn from that.
Well, Sunday is obviously going to be an emotional game. It's the last game for the seniors. Talk a little about Mufon and Pierre, just what they've meant, just the emotion of the senior night.
Well, those senior nights they're filled with a little extra emotion, and with two kids that took different paths to get here, but are both Atlanta kids playing here at Georgia Tech. I know it's meant a lot to both of them. They meant both those guys. Mufon over the last 4 years, and Pierre, since I got here, have meant a lot to this program. They've provided a lot of leadership, a lot of change in terms of the daily work habits of our guys, because those two are our hardest workers. And the one thing is, I think when you're able to show the resiliency that we've been able to show, in particular this year, you attribute that to your two leaders, and that's exactly what those two guys have done. They've been extremely positive during the tough times. They've been demanding of other guys, and that's exactly what you want from your senior captains.
With Mufon, can you speak a little bit to the, challenge or difficulty of being a guy who he inherits a new coach, and he seems to be kind of the guy who said, okay, this isn't what I signed up for, but I'm willing to go along and go forward with what we're dealing with.
Well, I think Mufon, as well as anybody, was little question on your wording. I don't think he ever said this wasn't what
Right,
I
okay,
signed
right,
up for.
right. But he's just, I mean, you weren't the coach that he-
Yeah, I wasn't the coach that recruited him.
Right.
You know, at the same time, I think he embraced the challenge of being given that point guard position, and that was, you know, he was going to have to play it because I think that was a challenge that he wanted, and you know, that position is always the most analyzed and criticized and different things like that, and I think he's handled that pretty well. Again, sometimes, and this is unfortunate for a kid like Mufon, is that all the things that he's done over the last 2 years, you may not see the fruits of that labor until later.
Right.
That's hard for young guys to not only understand but also to be okay with, and he's done a great job of that. You know, when he's played well, you know, we're a much different team. There's no question about it. And so, you know, I thought he played one of his best floor games of his career the other night. Did a great job defensively, did a great job moving the ball, set the tone for making the extra pass and different things like that. You know, no turnovers against a team that, you know, can force some turnovers. So again, you know, I think couldn't be prouder of his resolve during his 4-year career. Because I think during those first 2 years there were some very tough times, you know, and he's continued to fight, and that's going to really be the thing that propels him down the road as well.
Daniel has played well the last 2 games, and he had I think a 15-10 against State last time. So I guess you're looking for him to continue that when you go up, especially going up against a guy like Howell.
Yeah, well, you know, we need Daniel to continue everything that he's doing, being aggressive around the basket, rebounding the ball the way he's rebounding the ball. You know, he's just he as I said after the game, he kind of takes the whole team to another level when he plays like that. He makes it easier on Rob and on Cam. A lot of those perimeter shots that we got, those open shots that we got, were caused, you know, by Daniel being aggressive. So, you know, again, what he needs to just make sure that he's aggressive today in practice, and we keep getting him the ball in a position where he can do some good things for us.
Is he someone that you keep trying to figure out the right button to push to get him on?
You know, I think that's always an evolving process with just about everybody, because what ends up happening is when you move them forward to another level like Daniel is, then you probably can't do the same thing that you did to get him to that. There's got to be something else. You know, obviously it's always easier to motivate guys that are self-motivated, and he's becoming much better at driving himself, and that's really a big key, not only for him but for every player.